So I appreciate y'all. So please clap your hands for my friend, Mr. Martin McDonald.
Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, I am Martin McDonald, currently the president of the newly revived N.A.A.A.C.P here in Peekskill. Give it up, give it up. Very good. We're doing some amazing things. It's a pleasure and honor to be here tonight because that's what this is about. That's what the N.A.A.C.P is about. Trying to make a difference in the community, trying to do things different, trying to make them better for the least, the lost, the left out, and the left behind. And part of our charge at the Peekskill N.A.A.C.P is to look at things through 5 lenses. Out of all of them, we believe that voting, civic engagement is probably the most important because out of that, all the other things can be addressed. If we elect people and we get people in place, we got a couple of campaigns going on. We got a campaign where we're talking about keeping it 1,000. We want to get 1,000 people to pledge to vote in this upcoming election because that's going to make a difference because people don't really believe that their vote matters, and it does. It really does. If it didn't matter, then we wouldn't have to be worrying about things like voter suppression, disenfranchisement, voter laws. How are you supposed to vote? Why would they do that? Because they know that your vote matters. It makes a difference. They don't want certain people to vote. They don't want people to come to the table. And we got to encourage people any way we can to get out there and rock the vote. And that's what we're here tonight, supporting Andre and this great cause because it starts with voting. It starts with being involved as a citizen and taking advantage of your right.
Of course, we're always open for donations. There is a donation jar in the back of the room at the registration table. And just to reiterate, another handout which I want to bring to everyone's attention happens to be there's an action alert that's been sent down from New York State N.A.A.C.P. that's asking all members to actually reach out to your local politicians, be it by phone call, or write a letter, send a fax, or an email to contact your senators or your local representatives to urge them to support the comprehensive legislation to prevent gun violence and proliferation and save human lives, including universal background checks, a ban on military-style assault weapons and high-capacity ammunition clips, and tough new penalties for straw breakers, or straw purchasers. There's also a sample letter attached to this handout. I would love for everyone actually to receive one. I don't know if someone can start passing these around. But we would really like for everyone just to take a moment to do that. We all have seen the news. We're quite well aware of the lives that have been lost due to gun violence, including, recent police officer who's being buried this week. So I really think it's to all of our interests at this point to actually take a moment, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a letter, whether you're sending an email if you're really busy, or sending a fax to your local politician. There's a sample letter, which is really perfect. You're just filling in the blanks, sign off on it, and sending it in to your local councilman.
Okay, and for those who don't know me, my name is NA.A.A.C.P, and I co-chair civic engagement. So part of the pride of wearing a t-shirt is the work that goes behind the t-shirt. We can't just walk around Peekskill in t-shirts. We have an election coming up. We passed around to have people signed up to help the different component pieces of making that election happen and getting people out to vote. So we need people to help call people to remind them to go to the polls. These are members of the N.A.A.C.P people and people in the community who have pledged. The pledge is more than just wearing a shirt. So I'm going to pass this around again. I want you to add your names to this list. We need help. Help starts with us. It's not just wearing a t-shirt. We need people to call, make phone calls. We need people to help. Man, we have a trolley that's going to pick people up and take them to the poll. We need help. The task force will be at Mount Lebanon. They volunteered their church. We'll be there from 10 to 5 on election day. We need your help.
The potential one is 5 to 8. Just a comment that that's an opportunity for those who have signed the pledge and you have your t-shirt. We're asking that you wear your shirt tomorrow
What we're looking for, again, is that solidarity. So for those of you who have yet to get your t-shirt and you want to sign a pledge, we'll take care of you this evening.
So the more times that we show up at a place with these t-shirts, the more it will register that there's an impact. So that it might sound kind of trivial, and it might not sound like the most best fashion place to be like, oh God, I'm wearing this shirt again. You know, the ideal would be, it's not just a one-time event, because even though the milestone will be the election, the idea is the process, or the real goal, the viability of this, is a continual thing to go even beyond it, because you don't want people to jump on and then lock off. So the consistency of being, there's going to be a meeting, there's going to be a debate, they're going to show up, should be something that in their planning teams, they are planning for, because they expect to see you. But that will only happen if there's a consistency in the activity of wearing it, particularly in places that we know we're going to be at, but even in unlikely places. So it's a beautiful t-shirt, but I hope that we wear it so much that actually we need more of them, because you're washing them and wearing them, that the letters begin to wear off. And that when they see blue and yellow, they think we're keeping it 1,000, Peekskill, N.A.A.C.P. Here they come. And that's part of what you're saying, for having them prepared for when you walk in the door, because then you know your voice is being heard. When people prepare before you enter, that means they feel your force before you arrive. And that's part of what that's part of the visible, viable, and valuable is about, is having your force arrive before your physical presence does. So I really encourage you to back up everybody. And if you can be there, wear it tomorrow at the debate. Wear it on the day that we actually do the election. Wear it the day after, so that even those that are looking at it and saying, no offense, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Those that do not win, is the politically correct way I should say it, should walk around and say, if I had those blue shirts, I might have won.
In regards to housing, through an organization called Community Voices Heard.
Thank you for having me. Actually, one of Community Voices Heard's members, Steve Dillard, is also a member of the N.A.A.C.P. And so that's how I got connected here. Should I stand?
Sure.
And actually, one of our members, Kwame Madden, is with me. So, give a wave.
All right.
And so Community Voices Heard is a grassroots member-led organization. Our members are predominantly people of color and all low income. And we fight for social, racial, and economic justice in New York State. And what that translates to, so in the 20 years that CVH has been fighting and advocating and organizing, we work a lot on housing issues, both maintaining public housing and maintaining decent quality housing, and also creating affordable housing in some of the new development that is coming into Westchester County. And so in Peekskill, as our group of members here looked at different issues that are impacting folks, housing came to the top. That the rents are too high and the conditions that people are often forced to live in are really abysmal and sometimes dangerous. And so we thought, okay, one thing that we did successfully in Yonkers case, we were able to get 10% of units set aside for affordable housing in new buildings with 100 or more units. And they had to be affordable for certain income brackets. And so we were looking at how can we bring this into Peekskill, because Peekskill, as of yet, does not have like a single requirement on private developers to include affordable housing in what they build. And so we have talked to some of our council people, including the mayor, who told us that Peekskill has already fulfilled its obligation for affordable housing. So that's one sticking point. But when we talked to Vivian McKenzie specifically, she said that this is definitely something that that they would consider taking on. What it looks like and how much fighting power we would need is yet to be seen. We've actually found it somewhat difficult getting communications back and forth even from the Democrats. And so I was just here today to actually just present to you like a potential campaign that you guys could put on your policy agenda if it's something that the N.A.A.C.P would want to take on in fighting for affordable housing in Peekskill, and it's something that Community Voices could work on in partnership with you. But I want to just kind of like put it out there, and when I leave, you can talk it over and see what you think. But I'm happy to answer questions if you would like. When we went to meet with the mayor, he had a whole wall covered with all these different plans for development in Peekskill. When we talked to the Democrats, they were like, not all of those things are going to actually happen. But one of the most like startling things on the wall was his plan to like demolish the homeless shelter and build waterfront luxury condos. And I think like that is a direction that a lot of communities are trying to go in Westchester, and it's really startling, and you know, I think gives me a lot of go power to see that people are getting displaced from Westchester. And they're either having to move further north or further south and take their kids out of school districts and move away from family and friends and neighbors. And we're seeing it happen all over Westchester. So this is just like one small way to start fighting back in what needs to be a much bigger fight that requires like state and federal support. But this is something we could do at the local level to start chipping away at that.
That says all things work together for good. Yeah. So it is not an either or, it's an and. So when I mentioned the t-shirt, it's an and. When we mention driving somebody, and when we mention reaching out to the youth, it's an and. Yeah. Everything is working together, both the bad things, and when that comes up a lot of times, we quite frequently mentally jump to bad. I'm fighting all the things that are bad, but we have to remember there's some good things. This room of people is a good thing that's working together for the good. So that we have to marry these ideas in our brain to say that all things are working together for good and not create silos. So yes, we need to be there in presence. It's more than just wearing the t-shirt. Ironically, you're not supposed to get a t-shirt if you do the pledge, so you had to do something before you got it. But it's not one particular item or one particular agenda. That's why you have multiple game changers, you have multiple milestones, you have multiple things. What we have is an agenda of forward progress. And all things together, every effort or the volunteers, everything we do is working together for the good of keeping us moving forward. And that's a subliminal thing that we need to think of, because like I said, this room itself is a multitude of activities, from the community voices being heard, from the game changes, from the affordable housing to the criminal justice and the civic engagement. It's all working together for good if we continue to work together, because we will run into something that's bad, and we need to remember all of it needs to work together for good. So not either or, it's and. And when we see somebody needing more, it's and.